So, hello everyone, my name is Mario Damiani, and with the admissions team of the International University of Monaco. Welcome to this online Q&A session focused on our Master of Science in Sports Business Management. You can use the chat or the Q&A section to make your questions. Do not hesitate to. You can also raise your hand to make your questions live. So now I'm pleased to introduce you Dr. Marjorie Bershi, the Program Director. Hello, Marjorie.
Good evening, Mario, and good evening, everyone. And thank you for being there for this presentation, for this Master in Sport Business Management. And definitely, thank you for your interest in this Master. Let's go directly to the curriculum structure of this Master. And like all the Masters at IUM, Master of Science, everything is organized around 16 months. So 10 months of classes from September to June. And after you have to do 6 months of a Capstone Project. And I will give you some examples in a few seconds. So definitely from September to December, you will have to follow your module of core courses because you will be future managers. So these classes will be shared with the other management students in the Master in International Management. We are talking about classes dedicated to accounting, budgeting, business ethics, market research, digital marketing, these type of things. You will be together. But in September as well, you will have one specialized module only for you guys, with 3 different classes, one dedicated to sport brand management, one dedicated to sport business review, and one dedicated to the governance and international organization in sports. Because of course, this master is redesigned for students who want to work all from marketing to sponsoring to events and to governance in the sport industry. After the Christmas break, we will really enter in the specialized courses from January to June, like classes dedicated to operational marketing and sponsoring, crisis communication, esports, sport events and venue management, sport entertainment, all these type of classes. You will continue to have some small shared classes as well. For example, project management, for example, new business models and disruptive innovation. Well, this type of classes, of course, will be totally transversal because it's a transversal competence for all the masters. As you can see on the screen, so this is the theoretical part, okay. But without the practice, the theory does not mean anything. And in Monaco, we believe a lot in the learning by doing. That's why the experiential learning is extremely, the practice is very important. You will have the opportunity to experience this practice through different things. The first things are the real events, and you are lucky in Monaco because we have a lot of international important sport events. I can mention the Rolex Masters, the tennis Rolex Masters, or of course the Grand Prix in Monaco. And you're lucky because we have specific collaboration and partnership with them. And that means that you are really part on the organization as a student. We have also Sportel. Sportel is the biggest fair in the world dedicated to sports media. And it's a B2B events, so it's absolutely not open to public, and generally the students love this because this is the first moment in the year where you can really be part of and practice and have the first experience with on a professional field, because you are part on the organization of the event, and it's a good way as well to meet the professional on the different booths, you know, and it's only open to professionals. So generally the students love this moment for that. Now in Monaco, maybe you know that there is an esports federation, and for next year we want to be to develop a partnership with the esports federation, and because they plan to organize 2 big esport events in Monaco, and we would like, of course, to be partner and to include our students in these 2 new events in Monaco, and it will be in fall. Sportel is in fall, and in spring you have tennis Rolex Masters, and you have the Grand Prix. But the experience is not only during this event, it's also during the different projects you will have to conduct. And because the projects are real projects with real clients, okay? So this year, for example, because of the COVID and because the COVID disrupted all the businesses, it was important for Soprt to rethink the way they wanted to organize this big event. So they asked the students to bring some fresh ideas. And next week, the students will present their solution and their recommendation in front of Soprt team. So it's typically the big project that the students have to conduct. This year it was Soprt, last year it was AS Monaco Football Club, because of course we have also a collaboration with AS Monaco, and AS Monaco regularly hires some students as intern, but also for job. And I'm very happy because since last year, one of the students has been hired, I think even two, one in eSport and the other one in the sales department. After the internship, they decided to hire them. It's just an example. So this is really the practitioner cross-link, you know. Also, you gain this experience as well through the study trip. So as you can imagine, we don't want to take any risk. So normally we are supposed to travel to China, but I'm not sure that next year China will open the borders. And that's why we don't want to take any risk. So we will organize another study trip, certainly in Europe. We have different country and city in mind, and we have to evaluate and to measure the possibility. But anyway, it's another way during the study trip to have this type of experience during the visit and the guest lecture you will have. As you can see, when you finish your class in June, because it's 10 months of classes plus 6 months of capstone, okay? So what is the capstone project? As you can see, it can be an internship, 4 months to 6 months, where you want in a world. You can do a master thesis, you can do an applied research project, you can do an entrepreneurial project if you want to develop, for example, a product or a service in the sport industry. You can, and we will help you, and you can validate your diploma, because this is the capstone, this is the last grade you will have to validate your diploma. As I mentioned before, the theory is essential, but the practice is really important, combined with the theory. We cannot do any practical, we cannot develop practical experience without corporate relations. And that's why we developed very strong relation and partnership with different local partners, big partners, like Automate Club, the Tennis Rolex Master, Soprt, and as I mentioned, you know, eSport Federation, or the AS Monaco Football Club, and so on. And part of this program, I mentioned already, the business project, but also the study trip and the possibility for students, and we will see next year, to apply for an ASEAN track with South Korea. Why? Because we have a partner over there, and they are really sometimes focused on students in sports, on a very specific study 2 years ago, before the COVID. One of the sports students decided to join the ASEAN track. At the same time, she was discovering, because the ASEAN track is also, we are talking about discovering as well the South Korea, discovering the culture and the business. And for her, it was the occasion to do a very specific eSports study, because maybe if we have gamers in the audience, you know that South Korea is really the nest of eSport in the world, and that's why the partner we have proposed an eSports study to the students. So you have the possibility to join the ASEAN track if you want after the master. So this is the big picture of, you can see some pictures, by the way, of the different activities we had before. And now it's time for questions. Thank you. You are muted, Mario.
I apologize.
Better like this.
So, yeah, thank you. So we already have some questions. So I'll start with the first one. What is typical schedule for a master student in the sports business management program?
Especially for sports students, generally, you are super busy. Why? Because you have to follow not only your classes from Monday to Friday, but during the big sport events, you will be part of the organization. So that means that if it's during a weekend, you will have to work during the weekend, but it's for the good thing. So generally, you know, the students do not complain when they participate to the F1 Grand Prix in Monaco, because it's really a privilege. And to have access to the paddock, generally, they don't say no, you know. And it's not for leisure. Huh? Of course, you work, you learn, you apply what you learn in class. So it's really a hands-on experience. So only during this specific sport event, you can potentially work during the weekend. Otherwise, your classes are from from Monday to Saturday, and we from next year, so from academic year in September, we want to organize classes on a face-to-face. The philosophy is to have face-to-face classes, okay? So for each class, you will have 80% of your class face-to-face in class, except if we are under COVID and we are in lockdown, and because Monaco regulation cannot give a constraint to the school. But otherwise, everybody back to school, all together in class, 80% face-to-face and 20% on different asynchronous activities. Why I mentioned that? Because now in the week, you will have 2 half days dedicated. So we give you time to do these asynchronous activities, which are extremely important because they are part of your courses. And the rest of the time you will have classes, okay? But generally it's from 8:30 in the morning until 5:15. Maybe you know that at a master level, you have to follow a French class for those who are not fluent, or of course French. For the others, you have the possibility to choose all the languages. And generally it's once a week, and it's from 5:15 to 7, okay, once a week. Plus you will have to attend in a mandatory way once a week some specific dedicated conferences once a week. I think it would be maybe the Wednesday, if I'm not wrong. So there will be really classes, courses, conferences. So you will have a busy week, definitely. But generally it's during Monday to Friday. You have 1 week of holidays at the end of October, a long Christmas break to be sure that students can go back to their countries and respect the different religions as well. So generally we have a long break, 3 weeks. After there will be another week, a break in April next year. And after you will finish in June your classes and go ready for your capstone.
Thank you. So we have a very good flow of questions. So I'll try to put them together a little bit and to treat as many as we can. Holly, I don't think I really understand your question. If you can write that again so I can understand better. And then we have a question about one, the pandemic situation, the other, the distant learning. So how classes are organized now this year, what do you foresee for the next year? And the second question I would combine is distant learning or part-time courses are available for people who is working.
Okay, so this year we were super lucky because we were working on a blended format, meaning that one group was in class during, and the second group, well, the other group was behind the screen, because we have the chance to have all the room at IUM equipped with big angle cameras. So you can really follow classes online. It's a very comfortable way. And it was absolutely mandatory because of the COVID restriction in Monaco. It was not possible to have 100% of the students and the staff at the same time in class. So that's why we have 50%. And it was a blended format, just to be sure that students continue to have a face-to-face relation with their professors, their peers, the staff, the program director, and to have a social life. And so it was really important. And we were lucky in Monaco because it was not the case in France, for example. For next year, the idea is, and I don't talk about COVID situation, I say, we imagine that there's no COVID regulation. The idea is that IOM is a face-to-face school. So we want to be sure that everybody can come back at school to follow face-to-face classes. So the idea is not to open by default, I would say, the possibility to the students to follow online classes. Of course, first of all, we don't know what will be the COVID situation in September. And if we have to go back to a blended situation, we will be able to do that because we have experience and we are equipped for that. And also, imagine that there's no COVID regulation, everybody can come back, but because of a visa, long process, you cannot be in time in Monaco in September. We could imagine, exceptionally for the students stuck in their country for good reasons, of course, to launch the online classes only for you, the time you arrive in Monaco. But the idea is not to sell 100% online master at all. The idea is really to be in class.
And yes, so maybe to complete the description of a typical agenda for students, we have another question. Can we also work in the same time? Do we have enough time?
Depending on the job you do and depending on your capacity to work a lot. The first thing I would like to tell you is, of course, every year I have students who work, but you will have to sign an agreement. And this agreement is, when you are accepted, you sign an acceptance letter. That means that you accept the condition. And the first condition is to be student. And to be a student, that means that you are mandatory in class. You participate to all the events, the project, and so on. So if your working activity allows you to do your job of students, no problem at all for me. If you work during the weekend, for example, and you have enough time during the week to do your assignment, to do your group project with your peers, I don't want to know what you do between midnight and 7 in the morning, especially during the week and also the weekend. But please, I don't want students who send me the Monday morning an email telling me, oh, I have to take a plane because I have a, I don't know, a business trip to do. Or no, you will not be excused. That's the point. You will be able to do it because I cannot impose anything on you guys, but your absence will not be excused and justified. So don't forget that you can work, but first you are students and you have to, you have to do what you are supposed to do as a student. Okay. But I have every year students working in, for example, I give this example in sports. One of my students was working during the weekend for Decathlon. She was in the sales department and she was triathlete, she was student, and she was able to work. It was a question of organization, but she managed to do it, and now she created her company. So she's super powerful lady. But that's why I told you at the end, at the beginning, it depends really on your capacity to do different things at the same time.
So another question, during the first 10 months, will there also be practical projects already incorporated, or is that reserved for the last 6 months of the Capstone project?
You mean project or?
Yeah, probably if there are some practical activities also during the in-class period.
Of course, because of course I do not, and we do not decide about the period of the different events. For example, this year in October, from the 5th to the 7th, it will be Soprt. So it's part of your agenda, so it will be in fall. We are supposed to have also 2 e-sport events, one in November, one in December. And after, as usual, the tennis Rolex Master is in April. And after we start with the historical Grand Prix in, I think, May, and after the F1 Grand Prix at the end of May. So yes, you will have sport event already during the year. Absolutely, especially for the sports students, it's really a plus. And after for the capstone, it's totally different because it will be a working experience, really like an intern, like or if you find a job, or if you decide to have an entrepreneurial project, to follow an entrepreneurial project, you will do your entrepreneurial project. You will develop it during this moment for the capstone, or you decide to continue your academic journey by developing a thesis. So you can do it. So, but yes, during the year you will have already some practical and learning experience. Yes.
So I have another question about the possibility of working. So it's from a person outside the European Union. So for those who do not have a European Union passport, the visa that you will receive to study here in Monaco does not allow you to work at the same time, again, if you're not European. Internships might be paid in the sense of reimbursement, not a normal salary, but normally in Monaco, you receive a compensation. But again, Marjorie, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not obliged anyway to do it in Monaco. You can do it anywhere, so it will depend on where you will do it and with the agreement with the company you will fix.
Absolutely, yes. You can do your internship where you want in the world. The only constraint we have in Monaco is if you are more than 26 years old, you cannot apply anymore for an internship in Monaco. You can apply for a job. This is by law. It's not our decision. This is like this in Monaco. It's to protect the candidates. And do not forget that well, generally it's not the case anymore, but in Monaco, it's not like in France, for example. In France, all the companies which hire interns have to pay them a minimum, okay, of salary. In Monaco, there's no law about that, but most of the time, believe me, that the partners we have when they hire students, they pay them, okay. Even if by law they could avoid to pay them, but generally they pay the interns. But it's true that they can pay on very different level of salary.
Okay, now I'm combining again two questions. So one is I have a different background from economics. So this is an interpretation degree. At the end of my courses, will I be eligible for this master? And the second question is, which degree do I have to enter the master?
The minimum for everybody is to have a bachelor, for sure. After the nature and the major of the bachelor is, we are really open. Sometimes I have students with a bachelor in sport. Sometimes I have students coming with a, let's say, a traditional bachelor in business administration. Sometimes I have students arriving with a bachelor in finance. And combined with a master in sport, believe me, it's super strong because the combination of both elements is extremely important. Do not forget that money is important in sport industry, even more sometimes than other industry. And I give you an example. One of my students last year had a bachelor in finance from Bocconi. He did a master here, and he found an internship in an esports platform in Nice in the financial department. Okay, so it was the double combination of the two masters who definitely help him to find this internship. I have students who apply with a BBA in law, for example, because again, law is part of the sport industry as well. If you want to be a representative, athlete representative, for example, well, there's no bad bachelor. Okay, of course, if you arrive with a, I would say, a licence, as we say in French, or a bachelor in music, for example. Of course, it's far from the sport industry. So what will I check at this moment is potentially if the student has already a working experience. That means that he is already, or she is already in contact with the business, because when we enter a new master in sport business management, we are talking about business. So whatever the business background you can have before, if you have already a working experience in business, it can, I don't care if it's you had a bachelor in music, you know what I mean? And again, even if you don't have a working experience and you arrive with a bachelor in music, but you tell me, Marjorie, I would like to completely change my path because I discovered a passion of, I don't know, football. If you have a nice project and if with this master we can help you to achieve your goal, why not? You know, we don't want to select only students with a BBA in sport. Of course, if you do that, it's totally natural to continue with a master in sport, but it's absolutely not mandatory. Okay. What is important for us and for me during the interview is really to see the big picture of the candidates, to understand the storytelling, to understand what he did or what she did before, what she wants to do or what he wants to do with this master. And my role as a program director is to be sure that considering the goal you have, you choose the right master. And because my job is to be sure that this master will help you to achieve your goal in your career. You know, for us, this is the key element. So bring your bachelor, bring your license, and let's discuss.
Cool. We have a lot of questions, so we'll try to answer all of them. So be assured that sooner or later it will be your turn. And I would add another one, which is coherent with what you just said. Do we require any kind of work experience to apply?
No, not at all. No, absolutely not. If you have, I would say it's a plus, and it will help you to, you know, in the class to share your working experience with your peers and with the professors, but it's absolutely not mandatory.
Okay, so I'm taking 2 questions from me, so you can briefly a bit, Marjorie. So one is fee structure for distance learning. So again, we do not offer distance learning. This master is in presence. Then if there are temporary problems normally linked to the COVID situation in your own country, or maybe a delay in visa to get to France and Monaco, this is not a problem. You can start online and then join the class as soon as you are able to. But it is not conceived as an online a distance program. And for the admissions in 2022, normally the admission process starts 1 year prior to the intake. So I would say towards the end of this year, you will already be able to start your application for the 2022-2023 class. So yes, we organize this master every year. So don't worry if you're finishing your current program. Next year you will be able to join us. So next question, here it is. How many students who graduated from the Master in Sports Business Management were able to find a job in Formula One?
Interesting. So students from last year, everybody would graduate. Because they pass every academic steps. And more and more students join the motorsport, I would say, not only the Formula One, but the motorsport industry. And again, this year, in the cohort I have now, one of my, I think this is the best student since long time. And she has been hired directly for a job position in the Nico Rosberg family business here in Monaco, because Nico Rosberg is based in Monaco. It's a huge family business with different activities. And Lisa Marie applied for an internship, and they told her, no way, as an intern, we want to hire you directly because you have a fantastic profile. And she's extremely happy because she just signed a contract with Nico Rosberg. Nico has opened a new business this year. It's about X-Race Rosberg, and it's super big cars, you know, competition, but electric big cars, because Nico is very focused on green technology in motorsport. And yes, for example, this lady will join the team of Nico Rosberg, and she will be in motorsports. I have a few years ago, Desislava Pesheva, for example, she has been hired as an intern as Venturi. This is the Formula team of Monaco. After she has been hired for a job, and she has been identified during the study, during the master, during the Grand Prix. Williams Renault approaches her, and the first year they did not say anything, but the second year when she came back during the Grand Prix, she was around because she loved Monaco, and they approaches her, and she signed a contract with Williams Renault. Williams Racing, based in Oxford. And after almost 2 years, she did not want to stay in the team. She wanted to join a sport agency, and now she works in London and on different projects. For the moment, it's very focused on motorsport because she has a great experience in motorsport, but she wants to develop a portfolio, let's say, in terms of projects, and she would like to touch all the type of sport industry, and that's why she decided to move to a sport agency. She's a crazy lady because, you know, all the students told me, oh my God, she started with Williams and she decided to leave after 1 year and a half. I said, this is her career decision. So we have students. I have another student. He works for as an athlete representative in London, and he works for football players, but also drivers. Well, yes, more and more, and we have contact at the FIA, FE, so the Formula Electric as well. So and they are extremely interesting in young profile and also ladies profile, because sorry guys to tell you that, but again this year the level of the ladies was very super high. It's good because it's a good drive for the men, and now more and more ladies can enter, because really they are extremely competent to join the Formula One and to join the motorsport industry. And we organized a career talk with Desislava Pesheva about that a few weeks ago. And yes, definitely there's a place, like in the football, you know, football, more and more women join the football industry as well. And it's a big challenge for the guys, to be honest. So yes, there are opportunities in Formula One, definitely. But again, it depends on you, not on us. You know, it depends on your involvement, engagement, competencies. You know, if Lisa Marie has been hired directly by Nico Rosberg, is because the level of this lady was here, you know, and no hesitation. She couldn't start as an intern immediately. She had a job position. So everything is possible, guys. It depends on you.
And by the way, if you want to listen to some of these stories, we held in the past some career talks with them, and they are on our YouTube channel, on the part of the channel dedicated to this program. So you can go and check those online events and listen to their direct words on YouTube. So another question, what type of work do students do for these events like Rolex Tennis or Formula One? I'm going to guess it's directly with the committees and credential.
Okay, with Automotive Club de Monaco, for example, we signed a partnership with them since 5 years now, and the students have to, well, to be extremely honest, when I started, I did not have 20 students in class. I started with a small cohort, and year after year, apparently because we do properly the things, more and more students apply to this master. And as you can imagine, when you work on the Grand Prix, this is the biggest Grand Prix in the world, we don't have thousands of positions open. So generally the students are, well, they are selected, and It's part of your academic agenda. So in any way, you will be part of the event, okay? In any way. But I'm talking about the biggest event in the world in Formula One. So as you can imagine, it's a partnership with the Automotive Club. I work with them since 6 years now, and we have a very good relation. But of course, and this is my role as well, is to give my feedback. And we organize different interviews with the marketing team of Automotive Club de Monaco, and sometimes with the vice president, to select the best students for the specific position. Generally, they have position in the media department during the Grand Prix. They need people to work with the I forgot the name, with the ladies and the guys, you know, on the oh gosh, I forgot the name tonight. But anyway, you have to take care of the ladies and the guys who are part of the entertainment. So we need people in charge of that. We need people for the VIP as well, relations with the relations with the drivers. Sometimes, for example, Desislava Pecheva, she was in charge of the VIP. For example, to accompany them in the paddocks, you know, in Monaco, I don't know if you know Monaco, but it's a very small country. And during the Grand Prix, there are a lot of activities and entertainment organized for the fans. And there is a fan zone, of course, and we need students to be sure that everything is well organized, you know, the different activities and so on. So you are really on the event organization. For, I don't know, for the signature with the drivers, there is a Formula One you can drive, so you know, all these type of activities, we need people to manage these type of things. So you students are selected based on their competencies, and this is totally natural because the Automotive Club de Monaco cannot take any risk, because generally when you are engaged on the historical Grand Prix, you are engaged on the same students work for both. Because during the historical Grand Prix, you can start and they can observe, you know, if they selected the right students for the right position, and eventually adjust for the Grand Prix. Because as you can imagine, there's a lot of money engaged in terms of media as well. So they want to be sure that everything is absolutely perfect. And that's why it's a great experience for the students. And as I mentioned, every year we have more and more students, but the partnership is still the same. That means that students, all the cohort, has to be engaged in the project. So some of the students, the students who are completely aligned with the different position open are on the different position, and for the rest, they can participate to the global and general organization. So you have access, you have your pass, and you have to do different tasks as well, not necessarily in media or not necessarily in the social media, for example. But there are so many things to do during this big event. So you can have different tasks. Sometimes we combine as well, you know, the experience with a study on field, and we have students to study things, to interview people, and so on. So you are busy, guys, and because it's part of your academic agenda. So it's really broad in terms of position you can have, but you will be selected during interviews. But all of you will have to do and will participate to this fantastic event. This is part of the partnership we have.
So can you briefly explain the application process for someone who wants to join in term 2, so in the general intake, as we call it? Someone doesn't get accepted for that, do they automatically get considered for term 1 entrance? So first of all, to be considered, to be eligible for the general intake, you should have a degree with at least 120 US credits or the corresponding 240 European credits. And it basically corresponds to a 4-year degree or to a degree with a honors track. And those additional credits should have to be on the core subjects that we will deal with during the first term, right, Marjorie? I'm saying correctly?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So you
That's
can
right.
send also directly to me. I will write my email address in the chat, and you can write to me and send your transcript, so you can make a pre-check if you're eligible to general intake. Otherwise, you can apply directly for September, knowing that the evaluation, as Marjorie already told you, is a more motivational admission, not just checking your credits and your grades. So it doesn't mean that if you're not accepted for January, you will be accepted for September. It's not easier. It's just different level of credit and of your preparation. And now I will combine two questions about the schedule. So one is to clarify, class is Monday to Friday every day with different courses, presentation, guest speakers. Do you get to choose what classes you want to take, or is it all set up for you? And the second is, are you able to clarify the language classes that you undertake as part of the program?
Yeah. So in the Master in Sport Business Management, you have no, sport classes, you have no elective. You have to follow all the classes. The only classes you have, it's an option, and you can take it if you want. You have already a digital marketing and social media class, which is mandatory. But we offer you the possibility to have access to an online class, to have a specific certificate. It's about the name is Learning 7. So it's a digital marketing class online. And if you want to have it, you can apply. You have a credit for that. And at the end, you can have a certificate if you achieve the minimum grade. But this is the only thing. The other classes are totally mandatory. You do not choose what you want. Absolutely not. You have to pass all the modules. For the language, yes, it's mandatory because in Monaco, the official language is French, and it was a request from the prince 6 years ago. He wanted to be sure that the master students, on all the students, but especially master students, because generally you interact a lot with suppliers, and some of you will stay in Monaco, and it's important for you to understand some French. And so for those who do not speak French or who are not French, you have to follow a French class. Of course, for all the other students who speak French, who are fluent in French, you can choose among Chinese, Spanish, Russian, or Italian classes. But it's mandatory.
Thank you. And I think there's another interesting question. What is the Alumni Network like? Is it mostly Europeans or other students from North America? So you can also give it a chance to talk how diverse is the student body.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have more than 3,300 alumni everywhere in the world. So I cannot say other things. They are everywhere. Why? Because we are candidates and students from everywhere. So by definition, the students we have now will be alumni coming from all over the world. So we have alumni everywhere in the world, everywhere.
Thank you.
It's very international. It's not Europe. It's not only European, of course. It's really, really worldwide.
So there's been a good number of questions about scholarships. So to mention we have some scholarships available. Those are merit-based. So you can make your request during the application process or even right afterwards. But they cover just a part of the tuition fees, normally between 10 and 15%. So you have to take into account the fact that our scholarships are based on the merit. So you have to complete your presentation to be considered with further information, and that will cover between 10 and 15% of the tuition fees. So the language class is not an additional cost. It's included in your program. And I would say we can conclude with this interesting question. So there are many masters related to sports available. What makes the Monaco one different from others?
Well, the possibility to access to exceptional international sport events, and you are the only students in the world who have access to that. It's not open to other students. It's only for you guys. So this is, I would say, one of the major key elements for the Master in Sport, first thing. And second thing, I don't know if you know Monaco, but Monaco is extremely unique. and it's only 2 kilometers. And I would say that your playground, your campus is Monaco. IOM is the only institution in Monaco, business school in Monaco. We have no competitor in Monaco. And we are really part of the Monaco business hub and Monaco community. Maybe you don't know that, but the dean and the general manager of the school is also board member of the strategical Council for the Strategic Development of Monte Carlo. That means that IOM is really a very strong institution, and we count on us. And that's why we develop so many relations with the government and the different institutions here. The students really participate to the life, and the school really participate to the life of Monaco. And so by definition, when you come here, you will experience and you will benefit 100% of this very strong relation. It's not just a school in the middle of Monaco. We are really part of the Monegasque community and the business hub, the association, everything. Everybody knows everybody here. And you know, that's why for the students, it's a huge network and an easy network, because Monaco is extremely unique as a country in the world. Very rich, not rich only in terms of money, of course, rich in terms of events, of ideas, innovation, and all the people here work together for the benefits of Monaco. So that's why in the mission statement at IOM, what we do for the school has to have a positive impact on Monaco. And you, if you join us, you will be part of that as well. So this is the second big element, and the second big difference element if I have to compare, but I don't want to compare because it's not possible to compare IOM with another business school, because we are really in such completely different environment than the rest of the world. It's not possible to compare. But if we have, I would say that this is the two main big differences.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marjorie.
Pleasure. Thank you, audience,
yes.
for all the questions. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's been very interesting dynamic. You can see that in the chat, I've added my direct personal email and the email of the admissions office. Please copy and paste it in case you're not already in direct contact with me. And feel free to send all the questions that you have about this program or requests of additional information. I will be pleased to answer to every one of you. So thank you again, and hope to get in touch soon and see you here in Monaco.
Thank you so much, Mario. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.